It is January 31st, and I realized that I never did a January garden tour. I came down to do some cleaning and rearranging and figured I would give it a go anyway. Things are messy because I am cleaning, been doing a lot of pruning and moving some things around. But I want to do this because there's been a lot of changes since the last tour. I swear over the last month or so, seems like I was adding something new every week. So let's start on this side. This is my DWC indoor herb garden. This is a relatively new brand. It was a good deal on Amazon, so a bunch of us gave them a go. It has Wi-Fi. There's been a few bugs, but so far it's going well. I don't feel like getting my step stool, but there's some New Zealand spinach which hasn't sprouted yet, a couple of varieties of kale that have sprouted, and I believe this is my Chinese broccoli that has sprouted. I am going to probably replace the couple of kale seeds that didn't sprout, maybe. If not, there's a couple. This is my AeroGarden Harvest XL, which is a relatively new unit from AeroGarden. The light goes up to 18 inches versus 12. I do have a video on the differences. However, so far I am not very happy with this unit for peppers. This is my Pippin's Golden Honey Pepper. This is a mini bell pepper. These were started, I'll have to put the date up, I forgot, but it's been long enough that there should be a lot more growth and a lot more bush. But what I'm seeing is leggy plants, and they just don't seem to be doing very well. So this might work fine for leafy greens or something, but not for peppers. The light is only 25 watts, which is actually 5 watts higher than the Harvest. But look at the difference here. Look at how far the light is from the deck there versus here. I think it must be a little too high for the seedlings to get off to a strong start, but I am not sure. I'm gonna give it another go with something different and see how it does. Down here is AeroGarden Harvest with some romaine. Interestingly enough, lettuce and especially romaine usually sprouts for me very, very quickly. So 1, 2, 3, we have romaine pods sprouted. Then we have one here that did not sprout. And then the middle here is red romaine, and neither of them sprouted, which I find highly strange. So I'm going to drop some more romaine seeds in there, and that's the way I do it, so that I don't end up with a bunch of plants to cut, because I never do that. I always want to save them all. I drop seeds. If I don't see life in a few days, I add more seeds. Here's my little green onion farm. This hamama is from Amazon. I went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to buy it. I thought about 3D printing something. I even looked at a 3D printing file, but the print time was so long that I figured by the time I do that, I might as well just spend the money to get this cute one. So, working out well. The white line that you see is where I initially cut them off. They have grown that much. I've cut them only a couple more times. And this is the one that was just up in my kitchen. I brought that down. Empty unit that used to have arugula in it. I haven't put anything else in there yet. Down here we have my LECA. This is a unit that is very similar to the Kratky. There are a couple of other brands, Yucca, and I forget the other one. They are all identical. They just have different names stamped on them. So I have mine full of radishes. It's only been like 16 days, I think, and I do not see any radishes forming yet. Should be soon if it's going to happen, so we will see how that goes. The other unit identical to this, the Kratky, I recently used for baby milk bok choy, and they all grew beautifully in there. Over here, another AeroGarden, just Harvest Elite Dwarf Blue Kale, which has been with me for a while now. Let's see, this is 75 days. And Egyptian spinach, which I'm liking. It grows strangely. It grows very strangely, but supposedly is very nutritious. Over here, my sprout that was full of cilantro is now gone because the aphids found it and loved it. And over here is my click and grow. If you look at the last video, you will see that I talked about the click and grow and how it did with basil. So what I'm doing now is experimenting. This is coco coir. These pods are all enclosed, so I don't have to worry about it getting down into the tank. And inside of each one is spinach seeds. I've been having a hell of a time trying to get spinach to germinate. I'm not alone. So I'm trying it this way to see if it likes that medium better. I'm not doing soil in the house, so this is as close as it's going to get, coco coir. Over here, we have my baby micro tomatoes and orange hat tomatoes. So what happened here was, and this is why we need to go back to my trim your roots video. The roots got into the float. The float did not properly tell me that the water level was low, even though I usually check every day. I think I was really tired that night and missed this one. Water ran out, plants suffered. The orange hat recovered beautifully, as you can see. This one did not. There's still a beautiful piece hanging on back here, but the rest of the plant for the most part is like, I'm tired, just let me die. But I want these tomatoes to ripen. Possibly I might just take them off and leave that good piece there. But before it started looking too bad, I also took a couple of cuttings and put them up here. So if need be, I'll have another plant. Not that I need it. I have a lot of tomatoes, but I like those. Up here we have the DWC that I only talked about it in my group. I didn't publish my video on this yet. It's coming up. Another YouTuber / Facebooker that I know, Reese Allen, created this, and my lettuce has seen better days. I have just been so busy, and I've been back in the office, that I have not been using my vegetables like I should. So my lettuces have bolted or have been showing stress, too much nutrients or something here. I did eat all the rest of the lettuce that was in this one. This one is looking horrible. That's is that another butter crunch? I think that was supposed to be a little gem. This is my basil that's been hanging on. Looks great still. Emerald Towers basil. And over here, mostly peppers with a couple of additions. This is my gorgeous fish pepper plant that started as a cutting from the garden. There's one beautiful pepper there. There are more coming. Then we have this. This was just a tiny thing, if it was even there at all on the last tour. That's either my Sugar Rush Peach or Sugar Rush Peach Stripey. I still don't know which one. And here is one of my KSLS and my Botanium. And there are lots of flowers in there and some little buds. Here is a recent addition. This was a rogue branch behind my tomato plant over there. It had little teeny tiny tomatoes on it. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go for it anyway. I cut it off, stuck it in here, waited for roots, and now look at that. Gorgeous roots. It did not take long either. Because if you look at a tomato plant, let's see. There's actually another one exactly like that over here. Actually, we can look right here. See all those little bumps? Those are air roots. If you pick a branch like this off of a tomato plant and you stick it in water, it will root in 2 or 3 days because it's already gotten started. So that's how I got this one going so quickly, even with baby fruits on it. So now those have grown quite a bit, and there's more coming. Again, not that I needed another tomato plant, it was just an experiment. And this is one of the basils that was in the click and grow. So if you saw that video, at the end, I did show the roots and how they were growing now. Look at that. Beautiful. So yeah, after about 2 months, I say, the plants, especially basil, which is a very root heavy herb, need to come out of the click and grow if you want to save it and you move it somewhere else. This is my ahi lemon, aka lemon drop. Is that what this is? Yeah, that's what it is. That is for a plant challenge I'm doing with a group. How old is that? I don't even know if I put the date. Nope, I'll have to look it up. This is another of the click and drop basils in my other botanium, which is looking good. Then down here is kind of just the sprouting seed starting area now, with the exception of my strawberry and Kratky, which is doing fantastic. Then we have, this is the wicked pepper. I came down one day, and this pepper, which was previously beautiful, was just wimpy and had like pretty much died. So I thought about it, and I thought about what I've seen some friends do on Facebook and what people do when they overwinter their peppers. So I just cut it all the way down, let it stay, and it has started growing new leaves. So I'm just watching this as a learning experience to see how will it do and where will it go from here. This, 2 recent additions. Okay, my Serendipity Dwarf tomato, that big monster over there. This tomato plant, again, 3rd generation. When I grew this in the spring of last year, I think it took a while to get tomatoes, but I got tomatoes long before it was this monstrous thing. It's not doing well in here, and neither is the tomato next to it. So I need to work on fixing the nutrients or whatever is going on in this tank. Meanwhile, I have taken pieces, one here and those 2 there. These already have roots. I don't know if you'll see it through because I actually just put these in here yesterday. But I rooted them in here, and then I moved them in here to see if I can manage smaller versions of this plant. Because what I thought about was, when I took cuttings from this in the summer and I put it outside, I had 1 plant in a 5-gallon bucket, 2 of them. And neither of them got this big. They were like maybe 2 feet tall and loaded with tomatoes. So this thing is growing like crazy because it's in hydroponics, but it's obviously not doing what it's supposed to do. I left this branch because there's flowers on there. This one has flowers on it, although it needs some light up there. So I'm going to do some more pruning on this, get it down to a manageable size. And if I can get a couple of these smaller plants going and get that one down to a manageable size, I'll be happy. Okay. Yeah. And over here we just have my propagation station, which right now is full of different tomatoes. And let's see what else we have. My peppers. I left that covered so I could show you one. So I've been dealing with aphids since I brought these 2 habanero plants inside. As we know, they have gone through hell. At this point, I'm just trying to keep these 2 plants alive, sort of like overwintering, so that I can put them outside in the summer. So what I learned testing on a smaller plant, it was actually, I think, the fish pepper or something, is you soak the plant with your whatever your bug killer of choice is. I used a mixture of Lost Coast plant therapy, pyrethrin, a little alcohol, and something else. I absolutely soaked the plants. I put a garbage bag over this one, and which other one did I do? The Sugar Rush Peach. I tied it up and I left it there overnight, and it seems to do a better job of killing whatever aphids are in there. So this one, and that one, we're done. This plant is my big KSLS, and it is gorgeous. Look at it. These have taken a long time to get flowers for me, but now there are flowers, lots of flowers. And so I have one in just a 32-ounce jar, which is over here. Also got beat up by aphids. And then we have the one in the botanium. And then we have the big boy. So I'm just watching the differences in how they grow. And then, where did we leave off? This is my lemon spice jalapeno. This is actually one of my favorite peppers to grow now, because they are just so pretty when they ripen. And I have lots and lots of baby peppers coming now. And then I saw last night, let me see if I can get in here. Look at that. There's a big one in there. So that's my lemon spice jalapeno, which looks great. And that's next to my bait alpha cucumber. which is also looking better than it was. Again, cucumbers are finicky, so it's a nutrient thing I'm working on. This bounty is going to be empty until I decide to plant it. And then same thing over here. So I just moved these peppers and I'm using the light. This is the little ornamental that has been with me since the summer, hanging on and still just putting out tons of peppers and flowers. My beans were full before. They got invaded by thrips. I had to spray the hell out of it. The leaves and everything looked absolutely horrible. Like all of them looked like this. So just about almost a week ago, I chopped most of this down. I cut off most of the leaves, and now we have new leaves developing in many places. I left some of the leaves because you don't want to take all of them at once, because there are still some beans on here that are growing. So I'm gonna let that go for a little longer, and then I will get rid of that as well. Down here, another one of my neglected lettuce gardens, because we just don't eat as much lettuce as I thought, but we should. Little gem lettuce in my I do. Some of it still looks good, some does not. And then we have strawberries. So you remember the strawberries before. Those are actually different strawberries, and I'll get to why in a moment. That was my Harvest Microgreens kit. I just harvested them all. I will put a picture up, and there's a video coming on that because it has a couple of quirks and needs some tweaks. Here we have my Tom Thumb peas, which I love. They are adorable, and I have eaten a few. So these you can either eat like this when they are young, or you let them actually develop peas inside. And I have tried them both ways, and they're sweet and they are tasty. My succulents, they weren't there on the last tour either. Thanks so much to my friend Becky for these cute pots. I got the succulents at Home Depot. I moved them to LECA. I've actually been moving all of my houseplants to LECA. We'll do a tour on that another time. And then over here, these are the strawberries that were in the I do. They started in the I do. They grew massively crazy. And this is also something that I'm kind of just saving for summer, overwintering. I did get a couple of strawberries on one plant, but what I'm doing is just kind of propagating the runners over and over to make new plants. So when summer rolls around, I can put them out and they'll be ready to go. So far that's going okay. But I may take a couple and actually try to get them to flower. I don't know if they don't want to right now or what, because the timing of how long it's taking on some seems a little strange. Over here we have two beautiful lettuces, and I actually don't know the variety. They were in an AeroGarden kit, and one of the tags was blank and the other one was covered up, so I couldn't read it. But whatever red variety comes in the AeroGarden heirloom salad kit, I'll try to find out and I'll put it on the screen. But they are gorgeous. And that's the third Click and Grow basil. I just stuck it randomly in there because it fit. Down here we have my tatsoi and red tatsoi, which I've been eating on like crazy. There's the empty can that I mentioned. That's exactly the same as the LECA across the way. My herb garden up here. Genovese basil, Thai basil, thyme, and dill. And look, the dill is flowering. Now dill is like one of the only herbs that you want to flower, because it's those dill heads that you use when you make pickles and things. So I'm letting it go, and I actually just pruned that a bunch last night. Down there we have my rosemary, and I just did a video on how to root rosemary from existing rosemary, and this was the star. Then we have a bunch of thyme and tarragon, and my tomatoes, the AeroGarden heirloom cherries that have been just doing me well. So down there we have the 2 plants. Up here we have 3, and they are still producing like crazy. Up here, so I should know better, I started 2 pods of AeroGarden Golden Harvest tomatoes. One of them had 4 tomatoes in it, one had 3. So I now have 7 tomatoes. I did not need 7. However, I am really just hoping that this is the good strain. I did a video last year about my golden harvest tomatoes that were in my farm that did not make it because they were tall, leggy, and sickly looking. And actually, if you go over to AeroGarden Experiments channel, he had similarly looking tomatoes, but he did get tomatoes, so his were better than mine because I got no tomatoes whatsoever and the plants all died. Over here we have Swiss chard, which is perpetual spinach, which is actually a chard. Then we have the rainbow chard, and then we have the white chard, I think, that did not sprout. So I might replace that one, although these 2 plants will be pretty big on their own. So I might just leave it. And I think I got everything. 20 minutes. Not too bad, not too bad. So in the 2 empty bounties, I actually picked out some seeds. I would love to start some more bok choy because I finished that off. And I want some collard greens. So that might be the only thing that I add right now. I don't want to do too much that takes a long time to grow. Because come mid-March, I'm going to want to start getting ready for seed starting. So yeah, that's it. So since the last time, oh, I didn't talk about my new lights and my shelves. Since the last time, the shelves, you will notice that this is now taller. So what I did, I couldn't find a reasonable price just on these poles to make my shelf taller to hang the lights. So I ordered 2 more shelves just like those from Sam's Club. I used the long poles in the box to extend those shelves up to hang my grow lights because I needed more space. And then with the shorter shelves and poles that were left, I was able to make a storage area over here for all my supplies. So we have my water, my seeds, extra bins, which I'm going to be using, all my seed starting kits, and more AeroGardens in boxes. So up there we have a Viper Spectra light. I believe it is the P600. I'm loving it. I see I need to straighten it out. It's crooked. But that fits that space very, very well. So that was the recent addition. And then I moved the other lights around. So the OpticLED that was there is now here. And what I think I'm going to do here as well is raise this up and just affix it here because it does not need to be that close. These things are here temporarily. I only put them there last night after I potted them up. Just to give them a nice strong start under the light, but they need to go down there or here under, one of the tall lights because they're going to start growing. I do have one more light that I can use if necessary, and it is on a tripod so it can go wherever I need it to go. All right, I'm gonna stop rambling now. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.